Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Becca and I wasn't planning on vlogging this week, but I recently learned in the last couple of hours that this week is the Kindle Clear Out readathon. I'll try to post the hosts and the information in the description box. But yeah, I just found out about this morning, so I am gonna try to do it. So, random, but I got a new job, yay. And as a reward, as a celebrating, as a treat to myself, I bought myself a Kindle. I also have a Nook, and though this is the Kindle Clear Out Challenge, you can use any e-reader, so I'll be using both because I have different books on each. First, I have a lot of e-arcs that I'd like to get to, so I have compiled a list and whatnot, but also just some other books that I've had for a really long time. I'm also, though this may be cheating, counting library books that I'm reading on my Kindle, so whatever. To be honest, I was a little annoyed because it took me a long time to find the details for this readathon. One of the people that I randomly follow on YouTube was talking about her TBR for the readathon. I was like, oh, this sounds like fun. I'd really like to do this. And so like I searched and it took me like 20 minutes to find the like information as somebody who doesn't know about it to participate. So that's a little frustrating. So I might be a little incorrect with some of the information on how this works or like whatever, but it's not my fault. But so the way that they have done it on Instagram, there are some templates for, it's a build your own bingo board, which is pretty cool, and they just give you some prompts to fill in, and I have written down in my little TBR journal the prompts that I would follow. So just things like your oldest TBR pick, your most recent purchase, things like that. So I'm going to fill out a 9-square bingo board with the prompts that I would like to complete, which means I'll be reading 9 books this week, which I don't know. I do want to just like chat about like some of the books that I might read. This is not a TBR per se, this is just a list of books that I may or may not read. Should they fit the prompts or not, we'll see. My shelf on my Kindle, I've got quite a few arcs because I want to get to a lot of them, and the one that I'm probably definitely going to read is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, which is a romance novel, and I'm really excited for it. I think it comes out in May, so I might be reading that. Some other books, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. She wrote Beach Read, which is one of my favorite romance novels of last year, so I'm really excited to get to that. And then somebody I follow on Instagram posted about it, I think yesterday, that she keeps thinking about this book because it was just that good, so that's like really motivating. Another book I've got, Neon Gods by, I think the author's Katie Robert. It is another Hades and Persephone telling. I've heard some things about Katie Robert and her books. She's an indie author who writes like very spicy romance, like the spiciest romance. So we'll see. I mean, it's a Hades and Persephone retelling, so I'm excited for it just because of that. Oh, can't think of what her name is. I will try to like pop it up on the screen. It's like she did a video of like, if you like this, read this, and it was The Bear and the Nightingale. Like, if you read The Bear and the Nightingale, read this book, and I absolutely loved The Bear and the Nightingale, so she recommended The Heart of the Fae by Emma Hamm, and it's on Kindle Unlimited, which is something that you can count for the Kindle Clear Out readathon. So I really kind of want to get to that because that sounds like yes. I loved The Bear and the Nightingale, and if this is any way similar, I'm excited for it. So those are some books on my Kindle. The one library book that I will focus on this week, I don't know that I'll finish it, is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It's my current book club pick, and we haven't set a date for it, but I read the first 10% of it last night, and I don't think I'm gonna want to stop reading that, so probably gonna get to that, if not all of it. And then on my Nook, I try not to support Amazon. I know like I bought a Kindle, so that's supporting Amazon, but I wanted to get a Kindle for library books specifically. Going through my Nook, I have a lot of older books on here too because I've had this for a very long time. This was actually a gift, but I have a lot of books on here that I could read, especially for certain prompts, like the oldest book on your TBR, or one of the oldest books I have on here that I haven't read is Bird Box by Josh Malerman, so I might read that. If it's as fast-paced as the movie was, then that will be a good choice. For a short book, I could read Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke. It's a horror novel, so I probably wouldn't read that because I don't like horror, but you may ask, why do you have it then? I don't know. Oh, I'm also currently reading Emma by Jane Austen, and one of the prompts is also, or one of the like qualifications is like an ebook you own, but if you have the physical copy you can also read that, and I have the entire Jane Austen collection on probably both of my e-readers, so I'm not going to be finishing this week, but I need to get to the end of volume 2 by Saturday, and I feel like 100 pages. One of the prompts is also like the newest book you've bought, and I recently bought The Terror by Dan Simmons, and I'm kind of in the mood for like a disaster survival type book, so maybe, but I think that one's really long, so I don't know about that. Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. Options, or a Prince on Paper by Alyssa Cole, or both. We'll see what I can do. Can I read 9 books in 1 week? It would be awesome if I could. Welcome to the vlog. I'll let you know when I start reading. Alright, so I'm back and I've filled out my bingo board, and I want to just talk about the prompts that I've chosen. I doubled up on some of them just because some of them I didn't think I'd be able to complete with the books that I've already have, and you know the point is to read books that you have and not buy new ones. So I have read an e-arc, which I'll probably read multiple. I have POC author on here twice. I'd like to read 2 books by POC authors. And I also have novella on here twice just because it is a week-long readathon and I've got 9 prompts and I feel like it'd be a lot easier to read 2 novellas. So I've got that on here twice. And then I have your favorite author, your oldest TBR pick, new to you author, most recent purchase. So those are the prompts that I am planning on. Well, the first one that kind of caught my eye was Neon Gods, the Persephone and Hades retelling by Katie Robert, and this would qualify as an e-arc and maybe a novella. I have to see how many pages it is. What would you consider a novella, you know? Or a new to you author. Anyway, I'm gonna check on that and then I'm gonna start reading and I'll update you. So I just read the first 10% of Neon Gods by Katie Robert and I'm quite surprised. This retelling is the most unique retelling so far that I've ever read. So instead of them being like immortal gods that like live forever and blah blah blah, they're like descendants of the original gods. So like there's the major 13 and all of them kind of, well, I don't know that it's all of them. So Zeus and Hades so far I know for sure are like the descendants of the original Zeus and Hades. Demeter, who is Persephone's mother, it sounds like she got the title for some reason. I don't know if she's like a descendant of the original Demeter, but it's very interesting. And so like the setup is kind of weird because the way that Hera works, to get the title of Hera, you have to marry Zeus, which makes sense because Hera is Zeus's wife. And in the beginning, Persephone is like forcibly engaged to Zeus by her mother, Demeter. He wants her to be the next Hera, and Persephone doesn't want to marry him because, one, she wants to leave Olympus, like, just for good, and also because the last 3 Heras that have been married to this specific Zeus have been killed, and most people believe that they have been murdered by Zeus himself, so obviously she doesn't want to marry him. And I also think that he's like super older than her. So I don't know how like aging works in this, like if they age slower or something, because she says that he's been Zeus for like the last 60 years and he became the Zeus when he was 30. No, that he's like in his 60s, but she doesn't, like, she says that he has a white beard, but she doesn't say that he's an old man, so I don't know if he is. But I just thought that was very interesting. I've never read a retelling like that before, so I'm very intrigued. This is definitely not a novella, by the way. It is almost 400 pages, but I'm reading it really quickly. I read 10% in 30 minutes, so I am gonna keep reading this. I think what I'm gonna do is go to the gym. I had physical therapy on Friday, and we did a lot of strength exercises, and my legs hurt so bad, but I feel like it would be really good to kind of like walk it out, or I might just get on the bike for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes and then do some exercises that I did at physical therapy. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna go do that. Probably will read while I'm on the bike. It's just a nice day and I want to get out of the house, but I don't want to walk around my neighborhood because I don't like walking around my neighborhood, and I don't want to go to a park. So I will go to the gym. I will see you later. Hi everyone. This is just going to be the vlog of different angles of the same room. It is quite a bit later and I went to the gym and all that jazz. Oh, and I did my nails. Cute little cats. And I've managed to read another 10% of Neon Gods before I took a nap. I'm gonna blame it on the fact that today is daylight savings ending or whatever, so we lost an hour, so I had to gain that back with a nap. Nothing more to report on this book except there's been mention of a room in the way that I assume that they're talking like 50 Shades kind of BDSM room, and that's kind of a little frustrating. That's not something that I really want to read right now. Not that I have any issues with anyone who reads that, it's just, that's just not what I'm into when it comes to romance. So I will be kind of annoyed if that's why this book is 400 pages long. I'm going to go and pick up a pizza and then read something. Good morning, happy Monday. I haven't read anything yet this morning, but I'm thinking I might sit down for a little bit to read before I have to go to work. But I did want to update you on what I read yesterday, or where I ended at yesterday. So I made it to 50% of Neon Gods by Katie Roberts. I'm honestly a little disappointed because it does have that BDSM thing. So I don't know if this is just like a trend in like BDSM erotic fiction. I don't read that much, so I couldn't tell you, but like our hero, Hades, has scars all over his body, so of course he doesn't want anyone to see him or touch him or anything. So he doesn't let Persephone touch him or see him or anything, right? Does this sound familiar to anyone? Christian Grey? I'm not okay with it. I'm not happy with it. It's not what I wanted from this book. Really disappointed. Will I continue reading? I mean, I made 50%. It's not like the book is bad, and I'm very interested in like the actual retelling part of it, so I might just push forward, but like I'm hating all of the Stevie C's right now. I hate them all. I did read though quite a bit of Emma last night, and this morning I am around the 200 page mark, and I've got around 70 pages left for this volume, which I need to be finished by Saturday, so I've got plenty of time. I feel like I'm never on track when it comes to reading books with other people. I'm always behind, so I'm just really happy that That's not the case for this book. I'm really enjoying it. I'm listening to the audiobook. I've becoming a morning person, so in the morning when I get up first, I like to have my alarm go off 30 minutes before I want to get out of bed so that I have time to read. And since I've been getting up a little earlier, my eyes are too sleepy to open to read. So I've been listening to the audiobook, and I really like the audiobook. We have been introduced to, what's his name? Frank Churchill. And he's quite different from, I guess he's not super different from the movie adaptation, the recent one. But I feel like Emma's reaction to him is a bit different because, like, there's a part in the movie where Frank Churchill goes to London, which is like, I don't know how far away, just to get a haircut, and Mr. Knightley, like, mocks him for it to Emma. And in the movie, Emma's like, well, whatever. But in the book, she actually also thinks that it's kind of stupid of him to go all the way to back to London for a haircut. So I'm liking that she seems to a bit more like a pragmatic, I guess. Although I do think she's very pragmatic in the movie. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't want to read any more of Neon Gods today. I think I might read a little bit of the Song of Achilles. Every time I say the Song of Achilles, I want to say the son of Achilles. Achilles doesn't have a son. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% on that. Hi everyone, good morning. It is Tuesday and I'm off to get my first COVID vaccine. As for reading, I'm now at the 75% point of Neon Gods. Still not liking it. I'm not gonna DNF though because I really want to know how it ends. So yeah, I'm also really enjoying listening to Emma. I listened to another 2 chapters this morning. I kind of want to turn this into a, like, read my checked out Libby books because I have a lot and I keep, like, because you can delay them or like let the next person in line get them before you do if you like have too many out or something, and I've been doing that for a couple of them and I'm like finally just like no, I'm just gonna check them out and try to get them read because I'm tired of like delaying them all the time. So maybe that's what this week will turn out to be, we'll see. But anyway, I am going to go get my shot and I will see you afterwards. I think I'm gonna try and just finish Neon Gods today. I'm 75% through, just have the last chunk left. I just want to get it done and over with. I'm just tired of it. I don't want to read it anymore, but I don't want to not finish it. It's weird because, so one, I heard that Katie Robert has a very spicy romance. Like, everyone I've heard talk about are just like wide-eyed, like crazy spicy romance, okay? And then this one being BDSM, I'm like, okay, spicy, super spicy, and BDSM. It's gonna be pretty crazy. But it's not, like, it's not even BDSM. It's like just having sex in front of people. So the steamy scenes are super boring, and it's not very good. So far this book, I would say 2 stars. It is probably my least favorite. Well, okay, no. I read a graphic novel a couple, maybe like in January, I think, that was supposed to be a Persephone and Hades retelling. It's not. So that is the worst one that I've ever read. But this one would be definitely in second place for the worst Persephone and Hades retelling, just because even though it's like 400 pages long, there's like nothing. There's barely any development, barely any plot. I feel like we interact with certain characters, and because of things that are said or whatever, I would just assume for there to be something kind of like, oh, that's interesting, we're gonna hear more about this now. So we'll see. I'm gonna get some telework done and then I will finish reading and I'll let you know when I do. Alright friends, just finished Neon Gods by Katie Robert, and I'll just go ahead and wrap it up so I never have to talk about this book ever again. I gave it 2 stars. The setup was intriguing enough to keep me rhyming, but the total lack of development and like the boring, expected, like steamy scenes were just why I can't like this book. Let me tell you, and let me try to convey how much I really mean this, that the Hades and Persephone like retelling type of thing is my absolutely favorite thing. It is crack to me. And I'll read it despite it being terrible. Let me just go ahead and give kind of a setup for this book. So Persephone, let me start with the lacking in development type of god magic system, whatever. So there are the 13 major Greek gods. I'm not gonna list them all, but like Hades, Zeus, Poseidon, Demeter, and so on. And they're not immortal. They're more like job titles, I think. And I think there was like one mention of it being like 2 of the gods being legacies, which I would assume are Hades and Zeus because their parents before them were like the previous Hades and Zeus. And then other people get the job for whatever reason, like Demeter, like she lived on a farm as a child. I have no idea. And then Hermes got the job because she's good at what they were looking for with the job. You might think like, why do you sound so confused? You just read this book. Because there is no explanation for anything. Okay. So, Persephone is, in the beginning, kind of like forcibly engaged to Zeus by her mother Demeter. Demeter is kind of like power hungry, cares about herself. I mean, like, I guess she cares about her kids, kind of. But anyway, so for Persephone, if she were to marry Zeus, she would become the next Hera, which is one of the major 13 of the Greek gods. Okay, and Zeus is known for like killing off his wives, so Persephone is understandably terrified and just like no, so she runs away to the lower city, or the lower city, which is the underworld where Hades is the ruler. But people don't think that there is a current Hades because they know that the last one was killed, and they thought that I guess his son was also killed, but Persephone finds out that he wasn't. Okay, and so they basically just kind of come up with this deal to like, let's piss off Zeus and get revenge by having sex in front of people and making you damaged goods. That part of the whole setup is kind of like, believable. I don't know about that. So like, just the whole setup is kind of weird. There's no explanation for absolutely anything. And I just like, I'm so confused by like the world. Like, do they have magic? Because it seems like they do, but at the same time they don't. Is there magic in the world? Because like it's painful for Persephone to cross the bridge from the upper city to the lower city of Olympus. And then she's talking about like how it's hard for people who live in Olympus to leave the city of Olympus because like the borders of the world like make it hard. I have no idea. Like, this book is almost 400 pages long, and like is spent when I can't even, like, I don't even know. Like, I just read this freaking book and I don't even know. So I'm giving this book 2 stars because the initial setup of it was like intriguing, you know? But the overall lack of development in everything, and the like super boring and like completely expected overdone sex scenes were like, whatever. And I guess another thing I will say that I like about this book is the cover and the title. I feel like that cover and the title just draws people in, so I would understand how she would get people to read this book. But I was just on Goodreads, and I'm just like scrolling through some other reviews, and like so many people gave it 5 stars, and I'm just like, how? Like, how are you not so confused and just like wanting more explanation for like every single thing that you give this book 5 stars? I don't understand it. I don't. I read one of like just skimmed a review saying like, I loved the sexy scenes, and I'm just like, but they're not that sexy. Like, they're not good. they're like super short, which I mean, whatever. And I just like, nothing was, it's been done, you know? Nothing new, nothing fresh, just disappointed. Glad that I got it over with and that it's done. So, one book finished for this spur of the moment readathon, and I'm giving it 2 stars, so let's see what's next. So I have the Dune Volume 1 graphic novel that I think I'm going to start reading next. I need something to get this just terrible book out of my brain. Like, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Ignore the bedhead. I have just been reading for a bit this morning, and while I have my breakfast, I thought I would update you all on my reading because I have quite a few updates. So last night, like I said, I was going to start the Dune graphic novel. My tablet was unknowingly dead, so I had to charge it, so I didn't get that much of it done, but see, I'm at 18%, which is page 33 out of 184. So far, I'm confused. I like had to take a break from it because I guess like from looking at a screen too much yesterday, I was really tired and my eyes are starting to burn from staring at the screen. It doesn't help that the font is very small and it looks like almost a little blurry. I can't tell if like that's just like the text effect or the font, or if it just is actually blurry. So I had to stop reading that. This morning I did read again 2 chapters of Emma. I'm on page 239, so I'm making really good progress with that one. And then I read more of the Song of Achilles. I had previously, before this week, read the first 10%, and then last night I got to page 100, so I read about like 75 to 80 pages, and oh my god, it's so good. I just love Madeline Miller's writing style. It's just so captivating, and it's just like, it's so simple, but it just makes this story just shine. It's so good. I'm loving it so much, and I would have kept reading, but I wanted to start another book, and because I had been on this whole Kindle Unlimited rabbit hole with indie romance, I started reading, well, so Kindle Unlimited on like your Kindle or the Kindle app, it'll show you like recommendations, and since I've been on this kick with like fantasy romance, this book is not a fantasy romance, so I don't know why it was recommended to me, but it's Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole. The name sounds familiar. I've never read any of her book, but this one popped up, and I kind of just like glanced at the description. I saw that it was a marriage of convenience trope, which I enjoy. I'm a little wary of the whole age gap romance, but it's not like, I guess it's not too bad. Like, she's 18 and he's 32, I think, or something like that. So I guess it's not like too weird in the scheme of things. I just find it strange. And I was kind of just thinking last night I would read a few pages, see what I thought, and just like go back to like maybe one of my library books from Libby. But it's so friggin' interesting. Like, I was not expecting it at all. So definitely trigger warning for plenty of mental health issues, specifically eating disorders and hoarding. The main character, whose name is Skylar, she suffers from an eating disorder, and like her home situation is so bad because her mother is a hoarder, to the fact where like the main character has to lock her bed, like she has 3 deadbolts on her bedroom door so that her mother doesn't try to use her bedroom to store all of the stuff that she buys as a hoarder. So that part is like super interesting, and I feel like, I mean, obviously I don't have an eating disorder, I'm not a hoarder, so I can't tell like if it is accurate representation, but as a counseling psychology major, I feel like it's accurate. Like it just seems so real to me, and I feel like she's doing a really great job of like showing how the mother's mental illness and her hoarding has played into the main character's own mental illness, which she probably like would have developed whether her mother was a hoarder or not, but like how her mother's hoarding has affected her own mental illness and eating disorder. So it's very interesting, and like the first 100 pages, there is no romance, but I was just like drawn into this story because I thought it was so very interesting. And then it's also, I think there's going to be even more interesting layers with the love interest. Who, like, his sister went missing when he was like in his like early 20s, I think, and I think there's going to be another layer with that. Like, and it sounds like a lot of drama, but I feel like it's so well done that it feels like this could happen in real life. So I'm very interested in this book. And so the whole marriage of convenience thing is like, because the main character's mother is like so mentally ill and just so terrible. Well, she has a work from home job and everything, but she doesn't provide for her daughter at all. They don't have any health insurance. And, you know, the main character ends up getting admitted to the ER because she faints. She has all of these, like, not even just, like, the eating disorder, but other just health issues. And so, like, she has, like, a bunch of prescriptions she needs, and she has to go see a therapist, like, multiple times a week. And because she doesn't have health insurance, she can't afford it. And so, like, that's why they get married. Because, and this is kind of strange to me, like, he would be so, like, altruistic, because I don't feel like altruism is a thing. Like, nobody is altruistic. And so, like, that is, I think, the weirdest part for me right now. That he says, like, he wants them to get married so that he can provide her health insurance and a new place to live. The marriage of convenience part is probably the one thing where I'm just like, is that really realistic? Like, couldn't you just, like, offer her, like, to live with you as a roommate and then just buy her health insurance? It's like, either way, it's gonna be I mean, like, I don't know, I guess. I have no idea. I don't know anything about health insurance. All I know is that if, you know, the United States had universal health care, this child would not have suffered in the way that she had. So, way to go, America. Although she's not a child now. She's 18, just to clarify. It's not super creepy. But yeah, so I got to 100 pages of that last night. And then this morning I read the next 35 pages. This book is also not very short. It's like 500 plus pages. So I don't know why I keep picking super freaking long books for a readathon. That's what I read last night. Very interesting. Loving Song of Achilles. Really liking this book. Dune is super confusing. And I'm also just really loving Emma. Hello everyone. I got to work early today, so I figured I'd tell you what my plans are for the day, and I've got you like just in my dash there because I forgot to bring my little tripod, so also forgot to bring my microphone, so I hope the sound is okay. I left like 5 minutes earlier than I usually do so I could stop at Dunkin', and I got the Charlie cold brew, which is like disgustingly sweet. Like, it's good, but it's way too sweet. Too much sugar in there. Nobody needs that much sugar. Oh my god. Although it is satisfying my craving. I wanted like a really creamy coffee. They just don't give you enough freaking oat milk when you just get a plain iced coffee. Anyway, so yeah, today I'm at work. And then after work, about an hour and a half after work, I have a doctor's appointment. So I'm not going to go home. Probably get some Panera Bread for dinner and eat it in my car. And then probably just wait in my car until my appointment. So good thing I brought my Kindle. I think at this point I also kind of want to address, I feel like this is a perfect video to do it since this is the Kindle Clear Out Readathon Challenge, whatever. My views and standpoints about Kindles and people who are e-readers and people who are anti-e-readers and stuff. You know, I work in a library. I've actually had customers say things about how e-readers are destroying libraries and how people just don't understand like the value of a real book and blah blah blah, and it's such an ableist mindset. And not that I have a disability, but having like an injury this past almost like 9 months, I fully understand why e-readers are so important. You know, some people can't physically hold up a book. You know, when I was having really bad sciatica days and I just wanted to curl up in a ball, and I had to lay on my side, what I couldn't hold, like a 400-page book was too big, too heavy, too bulky. I just couldn't do it. So if I wanted to read I would have to either read on my phone or an e-reader. And so I think it's good to be aware that there are some people who just can't freaking hold up a book. Some people can't read small print in regular books. Some people who can't read with their eyes at all listen to audiobooks, you know? Like, I think it's important to recognize that not everyone reads the same. I know Emma from her channel, Emmy, she talks about how she's suffering like from post-concussion syndrome, I think she called it, and how like it just sometimes she cannot read physically with her eyeballs. Like it is bad for her health. So she listens to audiobooks a lot. And so I think it's just important to realize that. And also, I feel like it's kind of like snobbish, especially the one certain customer who was really, really rude about e-readers and ebooks. Don't you want people to read? If you want them to read, then you shouldn't be criticizing them on how they do that. So that's how I feel about that. There's no reason to criticize people in the way they read or what they read, which is why I'm also passionate about talking about reading romance, because I know a lot of people have really bad opinions about people who read romance as well. So I think we just need us all to check our privilege and understand that reading is different for everyone. Thinking even about like people, if you want to criticize people for reading romance, but romance is typically lighthearted. What if somebody is suffering from trauma, you know, where they don't want to read a heavy book because it will trigger them? Like, are you going to mock them for reading something that doesn't hurt their mental health? Like, you wouldn't mock somebody for deciding not to go snowboarding because they have a broken leg. So, anyway, I think we need to check our privilege and understand that people have different ability and disability, and that e-readers are important. And not even just like, let's also talk about like accessibility, because I read once an article about a woman who was saying how she exclusively reads from an e-reader because she lived at the time in like a very remote village in Brazil, and it took them like months to get packages. So that's like either ordering like hundreds of dollars of books at one time, which is not realistic for the majority of human beings, or waiting months, like one book every 3 months, which some of us, that's like, how? So she exclusively read from an e-reader so that she could read as much as she wanted to. So the importance of e-readers, and the importance of correcting people when they say that people who read from e-readers just aren't real readers or whatever. So that's my 2 cents. Hey everyone, it's Thursday. I'm pretty sure this is the first update. I went to the gym earlier, all that jazz. I just want to talk about my progress. Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole. I'm currently on page 372 of 506, and that's 75%. So I'm definitely, I could definitely finish it tonight. I don't know that I will, but I could. And then luckily I took the day off tomorrow, so I'll have plenty of time to read, even if I have something to do, you know? So I'm currently editing a video for tomorrow. Definitely check it out. I will post it in the description box. It'll definitely be out before this video is, but it would be my booktube made me do it. I think this is going to be a series, so this is the first video in the series, and it's disappointing reads. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish editing this, and then I'm going to probably read at the same time because waiting for things to load and stuff. Yeah, I did read another chapter of Emma this morning. I'm now on page 255 I think so this is the Kindle Clear Out challenge is supposed to end tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna extend it to Saturday because I didn't know about it on the first day that it started. So last Saturday is when it started, and I didn't find out about it until Sunday. So I'm gonna cheat and extend it to Saturday, which I'm okay with. I hope you're okay with that. But I want to finish, definitely Don't Kiss the Bride. I'm going to finish Dune Volume 1. And then I think I'm going to try my best to finish Brown Girl Dreaming, which shouldn't be too hard because middle grade, pretty fast to read. And I think that might be it. I might try to squeeze in another novella, because I haven't read one yet. How many books have I read so far? Just one. I've only finished one book, Neon Gods. So I'd like to have 1, 2, 3, at least 4 books finished for this readathon. Really what my goal is for like all of March is to read as much as I can because I'm starting a new job in April. It'll be like the first full-time job I ever had. So I don't know how I'm going to do with the whole work-life balance, if I'm going to be able to read as much in April. I really would like to finish Don't Kiss the Bride tonight and just kind of talk about it when I finish because I'm just having so many thoughts that are like constantly back and forth about how I feel. So I just finished Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I definitely feel like it was too long and I liked the first half of it better than the second half. Setup just was really interesting to me with, you know, the main character's mother being a hoarder and then how that like affected her eating disorder, and so like I guess like the psychological part of it was more interesting to me, which I mean I guess makes sense because I have a psychology degree. As for like the romance, I'm very just conflicted about it because I feel like they go back and forth about like, oh, this is weird and like this is bad, and the older guy he's like, I'm sick and this isn't right and blah blah blah. They go back and forth with like that and like, but we love each other, and it's just like they end up together obviously because it's a romance novel, and I just feel like they never came to an actual conclusion about the morality of it or anything. They just, I don't know, it was weird, whatever. And there are some parts where like one of the heroine, her boss, because she works part-time at a boutique, who says you're not playing on equal ground and you're taking advantage of her innocence and her need to feel loved. It's sick. Do the right thing. Which I'm just like, yes, I do feel like it's kind of taking advantage of her, but like that isn't his purpose. Like he's not marrying her to have sex with her. But they end up having sex anyway, but she's 18, so it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. And also, like, he's actually, like, 34. I think I was saying earlier in the video that he's 32, but, like, it's not old. So, I don't know how I feel about that. That's just probably going to be something that I never come to a conclusion with about how I feel. There are some things that definitely dropped this down to a 3-star rating for me. Like, as I was saying, the main character has an eating disorder, which I thought, like, the discussion of was very interesting, and, like, how the male main character, like, interacts with it, I feel like is reasonable. Like, he does things that are, like, wrong, but, like, you can't, like, you would expect somebody to make a mistake with that kind of thing, but, like, so her best friend, who she's known, like, since 1st grade, I think she said, or something like that, since elementary school anyway, says like really awful things that like it's common sense you don't say these things to people who have eating disorders. Like there's one point where they're at the mall shopping and her best friend says to, maybe you're skinny, has an easy time buying clothes online, but I need to try shit on to see if I can squeeze my tits into it. Just like, she's suffering from an eating disorder. And that's not the only time she says something about her size. And so I found it very strange for there to be like such like good discussion, and then to have like her best friend who she's known all her life say these things multiple times. And like it never, like the main character, it never, like she never reacted to it. So I thought it was very weird. And also, like, I think there were, and I'm like, I can't expect, like, somebody who doesn't have an eating disorder or who's experienced this or like isn't experiencing it at the moment to write perfectly about it, but like the disorder that she has is like food avoidance something or other, and so like she has an issue with textures, and so like she eats very little things because like she doesn't like the textures, and she has like bad memories of food from when she was a kid and so on and so forth. And then like the male main character brings it up later in the book how the very first time that he saw her, she was chewing gum. And I was just like, that doesn't fit in, like, with her things. Like, she wouldn't chew gum. So, that was kind of, like, that caught my eye later in the book. So, just, like, things like that I didn't really like. And then it just kind of got a little repetitive and a little boring by the end. Also, for this being a Kindle Unlimited indie romance, it was not very steamy. It was good. The first half of it definitely did not need to be 500 pages long. Hello everyone, happy Friday. It is around I think 11ish, and I am not going to show you my face right now because I currently have a bag on my head, and you'll see why later. But I just wanted to talk about my plans for the day. So I did not read my Emma chapter this morning before I got out of bed. I stayed up too late last night, and because I had the day off, I decided to sleep in an extra hour, so I didn't get to that, but I'd like to read at least one chapter today. And then I've been listening to Brown Girl Dreaming, the audiobook, and I really like it. I am going to play my Nintendo Switch, and then I will listen to Brown Girl Dreaming at the same time. I'll let you know what I think about it. But yeah, those are my plans for the day. Today's probably gonna be like a super lazy day, playing video games, watching TV, listening to audiobooks. So that is my plan for the day, and yeah, I will update you later. Hi friends! So I feel like I'm wearing a wig. I kind of go back and forth with like what kind of pink do I want, and this is what I landed on this time. I'm excited to see how this fades, but anyway, I'm here to update my reading since I did not update. Well, okay, I did update last night, and then I didn't like the clip that I recorded, so I deleted it. So instead I'm going to update you now on my reading from yesterday and my plans for the rest of the day. Let's start with what I finished yesterday. I listened to the audiobook Brown Girl Dreaming while I was playing some video games, and I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was a great format for a memoir biography, especially for middle graders. It was very interesting. I really could feel like her voice coming through, especially like her voice when she was a child. So I really enjoyed that. If you don't know anything about this book, it is a middle grade like memoir biography written by Jacqueline Woodson, just about her life growing up in first in Ohio and then moving to the South. And she talks about a lot how I think she says her grandfather was one generation away from being enslaved, and so she talks about her grandfather and her grandfather's father, like just like racism and what it's like to be a black person living in the South, well, a black child specifically in the South in the 60s, I want to say. I remember for some reason the year 1964. I don't know. But I thought it was really good. I definitely recommend it. Then what did I do yesterday? Well, mostly I've just been playing Lego Jurassic World. I finished the first level, World, which is like the first movie, Jurassic Park. I just really love Lego games. I just find them very relaxing, and so I'm probably going to play more of this today actually. So that is what I really did for the majority of my day yesterday. I did watch some TV, and then I read a little bit more of Dune Volume 1. I'm still not that very far in it, and I'm hoping to finish it today. Overall, the little bit that I read of it yesterday, I do feel like I'm getting more into the story and a little less confused about what's actually going on. So that's exciting. So technically the Kindle Clear Out readathon ended yesterday, but since I started it a day late, I started it on Sunday when it was supposed to start last Saturday, I'm going to keep reading. So today will be my last day of reading, so I'm hoping that I'll have 4 books finished by the end of this reading vlog. And then this morning I got to volume 3 and Emma. Listened to the audiobook this morning before I got out of bed. I'm really loving this book. My favorite Jane Austen is definitely Pride and Prejudice still, and then it'll be this one. Finished volume 2 of Emma, so I'm not going to be reading any more of this in this vlog, but just so you know, I am now on 275. And now plans for the day, I definitely want to finish that graphic novel. I want to play more video games. Hi everyone, I have finally managed to finish reading Dune Volume 1. I'm giving it 3 stars. I think it's very confusing. It's kind of hard to just write graphic novels singular by themselves because like I'm missing so much. And I don't know if that's poor writing or if it's that this is the way that the authors have chosen to like tell the story like a piece of information at a time. So on its own, not very great. The artwork is just, it's fine. I think it's not about the artwork, it's about the combination of the story and the artwork. Anyway, but yeah, so not loving it, not hating it, it's just fine. Does this graphic novel convince me to read the actual novel? No, it does not. Let me go ahead and wrap up this vlog. So this week I read and finished 4 books. First one being Neon Gods by Katie Robert, gave it 2 stars. I'm not going to go into any more detail about that right now because you've probably heard me rant enough. The second book that I finished was Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie and Cole, giving this book 3 stars. Book number 3 that I read was a Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, which is a memoir biography for middle graders about Jacqueline Woodson and her young life. I gave that book 5 stars. I think it's a great way for kids to read memoirs or biographies because frankly I find them boring, and I'm sure a lot of kids do as well. Of course, 3 stars again for Dune Volume 1. That was my week of reading. My Kindle Clear Out readathon, I finished a Libby book that I'd been wanting to get finished. Got an arc done, and Kindle Unlimited recommendation, and then a ebook that I've had on my Nook for quite a long time, even though I listened to the audiobook on Libby. But it's read, so that's all that matters. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up just to help me as I make more videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye!